right, happy Monday, happy November, however you want to say it, happy pre-election day, whatever the case is. So here we are with a video. Several people this morning sent this to me. The Griot. I never heard of this particular media source, but it's an interview, or excuse me, it's an article about the Variety interview Tyler Perry had a couple weeks ago. And if you want to read the whole article, I will leave it in the top comment below. I think I mentioned this somewhere either in the live stream or on the video recently that I'm in the process of rearranging my room. For the most part, rearrangement is done. It's just that there's a lot of stuff I need to organize. So my bed, the desk, the TV, all that stuff is put in its new position. So I wonder if I think the acoustics actually sound better, at least from where I'm sitting at, but I'll probably do a room tour once I'm officially done. So just to, get that out of the way, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. I said 150,000 by the end of the year. We're probably going to hit that by maybe the end of this week, just saying, because you all keep blowing me away. Hit that subscribe, please, so we can hit that 150 very soon. You can follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit the bell icon and select all and allow all notifications. And with that being said, let's jump right into it. So this article doesn't really say anything that I haven't already said in previous videos, but I'll go ahead and read some of the key parts of it. It really is going back to the whole thing about how Tyler Perry is adding more writers and directors to Tyler Perry Studios. We're super excited about the young up and coming filmmakers and new writers that we're working with. Tyler has solidified his place in the industry. His brand is amazing and will continue to grow that. Then on the other side, we're working on promoting, providing a platform, and advocating for this new talent, both in front of and behind the camera. And the article goes in to state that, pretty much that video from early January 2020, where he showed off all the scripts and the fact that he doesn't have a writer's room, and he said work ethic. He expected praise, but honestly, he got more of an onslaught of harsh criticism for seemingly preferring quantity over quality. And his admission to being sole writer of his shows also provided the answer to critics' questions about why so many of his films seem so similar to each other. Perry's decision to install a writer's room at his studio may very well result in an exciting experience for his legions of fans. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's like I've said in previous videos where some people said, all you're doing is tearing a black man down. And I'm like, no, I'm just a fan who is proud of what Tyler Perry has accomplished. But at the same time, I'm hoping for an increase in the quality of his work, because despite the amazing studio and, everything else he's accomplished in the past few years, I'm just thinking that over the past 5 years, what project has Tyler Perry put out that really can stand the test of time? Literally in the past 5 years, what show or movie has Tyler Perry put out there that will be in the conversation on the same level of A Daddy's Little Girl, or Diary of a Mad Black Woman, or the original House of Pain series, not the one from the WB, but the one we're more familiar with on TBS, or Meet the Browns and the first couple seasons of The Haves and the Have-Nots? I don't think there's been anything that will level up to that level of praise by fans, not necessarily critics, but fans in general. The fans who have been ride or die since the beginning, that have supported Tyler Perry to the point of him being able to become a billionaire and build this studio. And keep in mind, I didn't even mention the plays, the early plays, but I think that this is a good move. And like I said, not too much said in this article that hasn't really not been said by me before. I mean, I remember during the press tour for A Fall from Grace, when he was responding to people saying negative things about the lack of a writer's room after his video regarding the fact that he doesn't have a writer's room at all. He was saying that, well, that's something I speak to my fans and everything, and there are projects coming out that new directors and new writers will be able to work on. So Tyler Perry technically announced this back in early 2020, but it's finally coming to fruition, and I think that's a great thing. So overall, I'm going to keep my eyes open to this, and that's why I said Young Dylan is like a hidden gem. And then I found out, other directors were working on it, not just Tyler Perry. I think writers too, but overall, I know there are at least directors on it that aren't Tyler Perry. So I feel like that's why Young Dylan has that fresh energy that feels absent from House of Pain season 9 or Have and Have Not season 7, or even some of the shows that he has on Viacom right now, like The Oval, for example. So I feel like Tyler Perry, again, he holds the title as the king of cliffhangers and shocking moments, but I can't really say that. Even though I like The Oval and Sisters, I don't think those shows have that episode by episode quality where I have to watch every single one. Like, literally think about it. I mean, and I hate to just, use, it's weird to use the haves and the have-nots by comparison, because the quality of that show is not what it used to be. So let's say we look at the first 2 seasons of the haves and the have-nots and then compare it to Sister season 1, The Oval season 1. The shows don't have that. I have to sit my butt in front of the television or computer or phone to watch every episode in order to catch up with the details. Because more often than not, the story's moving so slow that you can miss maybe 5 or 6 episodes and then catch up by episode 7 because nothing's really happened. So I feel like once he finds that key formula of taking what he has and then allowing other writers to come in and bring in their own dynamic, something good is going to come out of it. I mean, ironically enough, I just checked the mail and I got one of my favorite album covers of all time. I got the vinyl of Prince's Around the World in a Day, the album that came out directly after Purple Rain, if I'm not mistaken. Love the cover art. Love it. And I think about Prince in the early days where he was so controlling. I remember watching an interview with Morris Day and, after Prince passed, more and more people did interviews talking about their time with the Purple One. And they would talk about how Prince was in control of everything. Like even when it was another artist's work, he was the one doing all the background vocals, the promotion and everything. So I hope that's kind of not what happens with Tyler Perry, where he brings in a new person to do some, writing and producing, but he's going to control everything. I mean, I kind of get if he does in regards to how it's marketed, because regardless of Tyler Perry, regardless of what we say about the quality of Tyler Perry's work, it gets out there. So what I mean is, I hope he lets the new people do their thing, but isn't afraid to kind of, tap them on the shoulder like, hey, maybe if you did it this way, you know what I mean? It's almost like a team effort as opposed to I want to let you drive, but I'm going to tell you, I want to be a backseat driver the whole time. You know what I mean? So if they can get that right, then I think it could work out. Kind of like the Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson combination. And, they had those 3 big albums of the 80s and whatnot. So, oh, wait, did Off the Wall come out in late 70s? I think it did. I forgot. But in any case, I hope something good comes out of it. I was actually, when I was organizing my Blu-rays, I came across, what was it called? Peebles. And that was one of the early Tyler Perry movies that he allowed other people to work on. And wasn't that great. Honestly, I enjoyed it, but I've only watched it twice. Once on Netflix and once when I got the Blu-ray for sale at the mall. So I really do hope that by allowing new people in, like, for if nothing else, I do hope that there are some black women writers on it, because I feel like that's one of the biggest criticisms of Sisters. And it's kind of funny how moving truck outside. The funny thing is, when you look at a show like he put out the video about not having a writer's room in January, and how that's people just looked at A Fall from Grace and they jumped on him for that. Then it's pretty much, well, Sisters isn't good because it doesn't have black women writing on it. I'm like, dang, you know how it is? It's like, if something pops off like in current time and it's bad, and then somebody will go back to like 6 years ago and it's like, and that's why blah, 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 blah. It's like they'll say all your work sucked when really it's only one thing in the present that's relevant. So it's kind of weird how that worked out. But to be fair, I do think that this could be a golden opportunity, because Tyler Perry, I would just hate for Tyler Perry Studios to be like the biggest studio in the country, I believe, but at the same time it's putting out work that's mediocre. Like even college film students could put out better content than what Tyler Perry's doing, and he has like all the assets in the world, so to speak. So this new talent is definitely going to be a good thing, because of the fact that I do like how you have a lot of people who are kind of new to the game, or I don't know these people who are working, but I feel like this is a great opportunity to kind of build that resume, to say that not only did I work at Tyler Perry Studios as a writer and or producer, but I put out a piece of work that was well received by the fans. And if that's something that can be accomplished by this new movement, then I'm all for it. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you a producer or writer in the making, or is it something that you do now? Or, I mean, will you reach out to Tyler Perry to see if you can get a possible position? I think that would be great. And if you are one of those people, then heck, just feel free to message me on social media. Maybe we could do an interview about it. I know some people ask me about if I've thought about writing. I'm not going to say the names of who, but I want to say in the past month, at least 4 of the cast members from different shows I've talked with, because, I touch base with some people like, hey, I love this episode, this and that. And it's like, hey, have you thought about writing? And it's like, I took one class of screenwriting in college when the screenwriting program, or excuse me, when the cinematic arts program was first introduced to Liberty. But this was when the program was brand new, where the director, I forgot his name, but he actually works in Hollywood. He was the professor. He pretty much was using a, what's it called? A whiteboard. It's like where you use a marker and then you dry eraser. Look, this just shows you how long it's been since I've been in a classroom setting. I think it's like a dry eraser board. Like I think he had a projector. Like this was like old when we had nothing. The film school now is legit, but I'm talking like before there were even cameras and all. We were literally learning from a dry eraser board. So I did learn about screenwriting and the format. I still got my books from the class, and I used to write music video ideas for talent shows, but none of them ever came to fruition. But I have done writing before. I just need to have a crash course on like the refresher of how to write a solid script. Like for the most part, in a way, I know this sounds weird, but you can almost think of my blogs or my YouTube videos as a way to, experience when it comes to writing, where I'm verbally expressing how I think things should have been written to explore character growth and dynamic, pacing, cliffhangers, things like that. So, I mean, if that could be taken into account, then I have experience. But, I just don't want people to say like, well, Jeremy, it's like Tyler Perry's finally offering the chance for new writers and producers, and yet you don't want to try to get hired. So pretty much you're exactly like everyone else on YouTube that just comes up here and criticizes instead of trying to make it better. No, that's not it. It's like when Jeffrey Owens was offered a position by Tyler Perry after his story about Trader Joe, that photo from Trader Joe's went viral. It's like he didn't want to just get a handout. He wants to audition like everyone else to make sure he's good for the role, and now he's on the show. So I would feel in the same category of if I got that call, email from Tyler Perry Studios, and they're like, hey, we would like to offer you a position for writing. I'd be flat out and honest, like, oh, shoot, I would want it, that's for sure. But I would just want to make it clear, like, I've never officially written on a professional project before. So if you could just be patient with me and, kind of teach me the ropes, then show me the ropes, then I'm more than happy to contribute what I could to the cause. So if that's the case, let's do it. But I know how he said about no Raquel Bailey's in regards to putting up billboards, and now she's on Sisters though. So we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, I can't wait to see what happens in the future of Tyler Perry Studios with the new talent. And like I said, the whole article to the Giro, I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but yeah, I'll put the full article in the top comment below so you can read it. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal, Cash App, or join Patreon for as little as $1 a month.